So today we're checking out some more of the best cases for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. There's so many good cases for this phone. I'll leave a link to the other two videos down below along with current pricing and more information. So let's go ahead and get started. Now the Fusion X case by RINGKE comes in two different colors, black, and the one shown here is camo black. This one's also military grade, drop tested. This one's actually pretty rigid, harder plastic shell there on the back. Also has a nice texture there on the back where the camouflage is. Pretty simple to just snap this one on. Fits the phone pretty snug as well. Has nice screen protection on the top and bottom. Could use a little bit more on the sides though. You just have a little bit of branding there on the back side down towards the bottom. Definitely one of the better ones out there as far as the power and volume buttons. I like how they have the texture there on the power button as well. They're also really nice and clicky, very simple to use. Now the design on the back, obviously it's gonna change depending on what color of phone you have. I've got the lime color. Actually seems to look pretty good with this one. Also has a rougher texture here on the edges. So overall, pretty good grip on this one. Also has a nice ridge that goes around the cameras on the back. This case definitely feels a little bit more rugged than your typical TPU or clear case. Really nice and large cutout for the charging port. Fairly large cutout for the S Pen. I don't see any problems getting that in and out. Only about 36 grams for the case itself. It looks like it weighs 276 grams with the case on. So overall, really nice case here by RINGKE. And of course, it's gonna work with wireless charging as well. Now the Thin Fit case by SPIGEN has always been one of my favorite cases. This one comes in two colors, black, or the one shown here is abyss green. This one does have a little bit of flex to it, not much though. Harder plastic shell there on the back. It also has a softer touch material that definitely gives it a little bit better grip. Fits the phone really nice and snug, has nice screen protection on the top and bottom, and has just enough protection there on the sides where the screen is curved. This one just has the SPIGEN icon here on the back. You can see it does have a little bit of sheen to it as far as the color goes, so it's gonna look a little bit different depending on what type of lighting you're in. It's got a softer TPU material around the edges, including where the power and volume buttons are. It's pretty tough to beat SPIGEN when it comes to power and volume buttons. It's sort of a toss-up between this one and the one from RINGKE, but they stick out plenty, so they're easy to locate. Now as far as the camera cutouts on the back goes, I actually like it how they do it on the Nano Pop case by Caseology, but this one has decent protection, and I feel like it still looks pretty good here on the back. Nice and large cutout for the charging port and the S Pen as well. Definitely one of the better cases out there as far as grip goes in my opinion. Only 266 grams with the case on, so it's gonna be one of the lighter cases out there. Only 30 grams for the case itself. And then of course, it's gonna work with wireless charging. Overall, just a really nice thin case with pretty good grip from SPIGEN. Now this case here is by, I believe it's pronounced TOCOL. Not really sure, but it actually looks like a pretty nice case. Comes in several different colors. I believe this is their only one that has the MAGSAFE charging on the back. It does have a little bit of play here on the sides, but overall feels like it fits the phone pretty snug. Also has a softer TPU material around the edges. Also has nice ridges there on the sides to give it extra grip as well. Definitely one of the better ones out there as far as the power and volume buttons go. Doesn't seem to have a lot of protection there on the sides of the screen. Plenty on the top and bottom though. Nice protection for the cameras on the back, and as you can see, it's got a cutout for each one. Tend to prefer that instead of just one big cutout. Pretty nice and clean design there on the back. And of course it works with MagSafe charging. Now as far as the magnet goes on the back, feels like it's plenty strong enough. Really nice and large cutouts for the charging port and the S Pen as well. You can see on the back, sort of frosted, makes the lime color just a little bit darker. Weighs in at 38 grams for the case itself. 278 grams with the case on. So if you're looking for a MagSafe case for the S23 Ultra, this one seems to be a pretty good option. Now, when I first saw this case, I was like, wait a minute, what is this? This case is by ELAGO, and it comes in a couple different styles. You've got one that's clear, and then a solid color at the bottom. And then you've got a solid TPU or silicone case that also has the solid strip of color on the bottom. They've also got a couple different colors you can choose from. The one shown here is a clear metallic dark gray, and then dark gray with yellow on the bottom. Interesting thing is you can actually pop off the bottom part. Feels like a solid hard plastic. Even looks like you could switch these if you wanted to. Now each of these are really soft and flexible, almost like a silicone material, except for the hard plastic at the bottom, of course. Now it's pretty much flush on the sides, decent protection on the top and bottom though. A nice and large cutout for the charging port and the S Pen. Pretty simple design for the power and volume buttons. Fairly clicky and pretty simple to use. Looks like it's got just enough protection there on the back for the cameras. Also, because of the silicone material, it does have really nice grip. The one nice thing is it covers up the IMEI number if you go with the clear case. Not really sure why Samsung puts that there. Now just keep in mind on this metallic version, you are going to get a little more fingerprints than on something like this yellow one. Looks like it weighs 42 grams for the case itself. 284 grams with the case on. And of course it's going to work with wireless charging, regardless of which one you go with. The dual guard case by CRAVE is another good option. Actually comes in 9 different colors. The one shown here is forest green. Now this one is a hybrid case. We've got a really soft TPU, almost silicone material on the inside, harder plastic shell on the back. Really nice and snug fit on this one. It could use a little more protection here on the sides, but pretty good on the top and bottom. Definitely one of the best as far as the power and volume buttons. They stick out plenty on the sides, but they're probably just the easiest to push. Nice protection around the cameras on the back. Also has a nice texture on the back as well. It just seems like it has a really nice grip on this case. Probably one of the best as far as getting the S Pen in and out, and super large cutout for the charging port as well. And of course it's going to work with wireless charging. The case itself weighs about 50 grams. 288 grams with the case on. So overall just a really nice case here by CRAVE. If you're looking for a clear case that also has MagSafe, this one here is actually a pretty good option by the company called ENCASED. This one's also going to come with a holster. Now this case is somewhat flexible, but overall feels nice and rigid there on the back. Feels nice and grippy on the sides and back. Does have a little bit of play there on the sides, not much though. One of the few cases that actually feels like it has a lip on the sides, and then plenty on the top and bottom. Power and volume buttons stick out plenty on the sides, and they're actually pretty clicky as well. Definitely better than I was expecting. Nice protection around the cameras on the back. Just a nice clean design here on the back. Looks like the charging port is just big enough here on the bottom. Nice cutout for the S Pen. That's going to be easy to get in and out. And then of course it's going to work with MagSafe wireless charging. And it appears the magnet on the back is plenty strong enough as well. Okay, it looks like the holster works pretty good. The case itself weighs about 36 grams. 274 grams with the case on. So yeah, if you're looking for a MagSafe case for the S23 Ultra, this one seems to be a good option. Now, if you're not familiar with CASETIFY cases, they actually have several different styles. You could get this clear with a black trim around the edges. They also have a clear version where it's midnight green. You can even customize it where you can put your name on the back, or they have several options where it looks like there's a decal on the back, like this example here where it's got the inside of the phone. This one definitely fits the phone nice and snug. First thing I noticed, this one's super grippy. You can see it's got a little bit of branding there around the cameras. Looks like just enough protection for the cameras on the back as well. Looks like they want you to know this is made from recycled phone cases. Seems to be flush or maybe just a hair under on the sides. Plenty of screen protection on the top and bottom. Pretty nice buttons on here as well. Feels like they've got just enough clickiness to them. This one's super rigid, doesn't really flex at all. Now for some reason, their cutouts for the S Pen feels like it's a little on the deep side, but not too bad as far as functionality goes. The case itself weighs about 50 grams. About 288 grams with the case on. And of course, it's gonna work with wireless charging. Now, if you're looking for a rugged case, the Caseborn V is actually a pretty good option. Comes in 3 different colors, purple, black, and the one shown here is orange. This one's also military grade, drop tested. Feels like it has some foam material on the inside as well. You've got 2 parts to this case, a plastic frame that goes around the front of the phone, and then it just snaps right into a hard plastic shell. It's actually pretty flexible here around the edges. Hard plastic shell on the back. First, you just snap on the plastic frame around the front of the phone, and then just work your way around the edges until it snaps into place. It looks like it might just be a hair above the edges on the sides. Then you have a lot of screen protection on the top and bottom. Power and volume buttons on here are nice and chunky. Just really nice to use the buttons on here. You barely have to push them. You've also got some texture here on the sides, which also gives it a little extra grip. You can sort of see how thick the case is going around the cameras on the back. You've also got a flap there on the bottom to cover the charging port and a nice large opening for the S Pen as well. You've also got a built-in kickstand here on the back. So you can use this vertical or landscape when in the stand position. Looks like the case itself weighs about 80 grams. Looks like it weighs 318 grams with the case installed. And surprisingly, this still works with wireless charging, even though this is a pretty thick case. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.